We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
Hello.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butella.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I have the pleasure of talking to one of our members, Tiffany Carter. We're going to ask her all kinds of questions, starting with Tiffany. I hear there's a failed mailer.
You're just going right there.
Well, you know what? Before that, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, where you're from, and just anything about you that's interesting.
Yeah, well, okay. Let's go back a little bit. I was in the Army some years ago, spent 8 years there. After that, I did IT work and stuff for some time. And then I spent some years at home with my son. We decided, that I'll just stay home because we were going to move to North Carolina. And at that time, it just didn't make sense financially as far as the move for us to get someone to take care of him and all of that. So we're like, all right, well, I'll just stay home. So I did that for a few years, then jumped back into the workforce and all of that. And I started with the company that I'm working with now, and I actually do IT purchasing there for a data center. And so I've been doing that for a while, and it's been cool. It's been good, but kind of jumped into this entrepreneur thing, just because I'm at a point in my life where I'm just ready for more, I guess. I'm just ready to do something more, and just feel like my time is. I don't have someone putting a number on like what my time is worth, pretty much. So that's kind of what led me here. But that is a funny story as well. So I'll go ahead. I'll let you guys.
So was your partner, husband, was he supportive all the way on this?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. This
is always an interesting story.
Yes. I mean, so he's supportive, of course he wants me to be happy and he wants me to do whatever makes me happy. But, definitely in the beginning, when I first started this, it was like, all right. So, it was like I'm kind of taking a breath, like, let's see where this goes, But honestly, my journey kind of started, I want to say like a couple of years back. And I actually started looking into when I even found out about the whole concept of wholesaling anything. I was actually looking at houses, and of course they have all sorts of YouTube channels and a plethora of information for that. And so I was just watching everybody's channels and trying to learn this and trying to learn that, and all of that stuff. And it was cool, for a while. I've learned about the driving for dollars, finding your ARV, and all that stuff, right? And it was one day I was driving past a vacant lot. And I was like, the thought came in my head. I'm like, what if you could do this for land, And so, I left it at that. Now, this is funny because at this time, I was literally typing. I had a typed note template, a typed letter template that I would use. And I used this app called Land Glide. And I would drive around, I'd find the houses, the lots, and I'd get the information from Land Glide. And then I would literally send them a typed letter, just, substitute each person's name in there, send them the letter, mailing out, manual work from me. Okay. Like
one by one house at a time.
Absolutely. So, and it was like, I would send out let's just say, for example, 20 or 40 letters for houses. I'll send out one letter for land, and guess which one would actually call me? It would be the land person.
You started your own.
That's awesome.
You started your own little version of Land Academy.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But I was so far off because, when I started looking into, because I just kept getting these land calls. So I was like, well, let me actually look into this. And, how do you find the ARV for land, right? And I'm looking at, all of these, land plots and everything near me, and Zillow and all these places, just trying to find prices, and like, how do you come up with this stuff? Because, of course, as you guys have already taught us plenty of times, the prices are everywhere. I mean, from $4 million to $12,000. It's crazy. So I'm like, well, how do you know how much this is worth? I just felt so lost. And so I remember that I'm looking on YouTube, I'm searching for information. I was finding nothing helpful, barely ever finding anything helpful. And then, so two things. I ended up finding REI Tipster first. That came up in one of the suggestions. And I think I heard you guys say that was one of your early students.
Yep.
And so the good thing about finding him was that I learned that the prices that I was thinking land would be, or what I should be looking to buy land, I was totally way off. I was realizing that I need to come way, way lower than what I was thinking. So that taught me that, but it was still, I just still had so many questions. And you guys are probably going to get a kick out of this, because it was actually a video that a realtor made. And she had like tips on, what to do when you're buying land, or whatever the case was. And I just happened to click on that video, and all of a sudden, your guys' videos came up next in the suggestions. And I'm telling you, I kid you not, like, I watched maybe the first 5 videos, and within those first 5 videos, I had questions answered that I was looking for, trying to figure out for months. So after that, I was hooked. I was like, oh my gosh, I need more. Jack and Jill.
Oh,
so hold a second. I have to.
So good.
This all happened in your head long before. You're giving me so many ideas for podcast topics, because you had a land light bulb moment anyway.
Yeah.
Long before you ever knew that this was kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I've had much earlier in my life, way like as a child, looking around at all this land in southeastern Michigan, saying, why is everybody clamoring to buy these buildings and this commercial real estate and financing stuff and making your life complicated, like with houses too?
Yep.
And you can just go buy this piece of land and resell it for more.
Mm-hmm.
I was like 14 when I started thinking about this
Oh,
stuff.
wow. Oh,
so
my gosh.
I that moment you just described, where you're looking at a house, piece of land, house. Wait a minute, why don't I just buy that and make a few $1,000 on that and not have to worry about it?
Yep.
So I've never heard anyone describe it that way, Tiffany. That's fantastic.
But the part I didn't have was how, like, I'm like, how? I don't get it.
Once you have that, I'm going to call it the land light bulb moment.
True.
Once you have that, then that's what Google's for.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Sure. That's a great story.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
Thank
you. Continue on your journey then. So you saw us, and for whatever reason it clicked. I'm sorry about that. You should raise your standards a little.
No, it's been awesome. I mean, I watched you guys. Like I said, I took in every video that I could for months. I know I was probably driving my husband crazy. I'm just watching you guys every day. You guys are on the TV. Like, I'm taking notes. I'm binge watching. All right. So it was funny. But so finally, I don't know, maybe about 6 months, you guys had a sell on the program. Mm-hmm. And now this was, I can't remember exactly when this was, but when you guys had this sell, I didn't jump on it then, because I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I'm going to be able to, I don't know if I'm ready. Right. So I just kept binge watching. And then finally it was sometime in last year around Halloween, you guys had another sale. And I had told myself before then, I'm like, okay, I am jumping on this. If they put this program on sale again, I gotta jump on this. I gotta tell my husband, I gotta look, honey, we gotta do this, please. Because he's very much, I'll believe it when I see it type of person,
That's fair.
So, yes, absolutely. So all the dreaming and, this is what we can do. And no, that doesn't work. So, so I had to give him the whole spiel. Like, I mean, normally the cost is this much, but it's on sale for this, and you get all this, and it's great, and it's fun. Anyway, so long story short, doing the program. And I want to say within a month after I got it, I went ahead, jumped in, sent out my first mailer. Now, it actually took me, I want to say maybe month 3 or month 4 before I actually closed my first deal. When I talked to you, Jill, some time ago, I kind of touched on this a little bit. And I really think most of that was me. It was like, even though I was quick to jump out there and get the mail out, I was so gun shy. I was just shy to like really just move forward and like commit to something, So I'm saying no to everything. I'm like, oh, it's not absolutely perfect. I can't do it.
Okay.
So finally, I ended up with a piece of property that, oh my gosh, it was like, one of these things that you say when you look at it and like you almost want it for yourself type of thing. It was like, oh man, the only thing about it had an HOA on it. And the HOA was a bit pricey. So I was like, all right, well, looking at everything, looking at the county and all this other stuff, I know I can sell it. It just won't be for as much as I was hoping.
Right.
But that was okay. I was still going to get me a deal, get a deal done and get me in the door. And I made back my, purchase price of the program, mailer, all that back easily. So, that was no thing. But I learned then that most people are tire kickers. They just want to, just ask a bunch of questions. They hardly read the ad. You put everything in there so that they don't have these questions and they still ask you the same questions. But the guy that I knew was serious, when he called me, he said, oh no, he didn't even call. He sent a message and he said, hey, can I see the property? I said, okay, but you do know this, this, and this, right? And he said, oh yes, ma'am. I've read it over twice. I was like, oh, there you go. I know it. This is my buyer.
Yep, totally.
Yep. So it was very exciting. And it's been exciting. It has definitely been a journey. And like I told you guys, I've been kind of taking this at my own pace. I wanted to just jump in head first and go full, but at the same time, hey, I do have a lot of other roles and other things going on in my life too. So, I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to have to take this and do not compare myself with everyone else. And, oh my gosh, this person is there. And how did you do this? And I can definitely easily go there quickly, but I definitely have to keep myself from doing that and just stay encouraged and keep moving forward.
I think. And that's okay. You wanted to make sure you like it. Obviously, you've got this all figured out. That part's easy. And I do always agree with, I'd rather you be cautious and hold back and get a nice little, bank balance built up.
Yeah.
So someday when you and your husband sit down and you guys will, if you want to, you could keep your day job and just do this on the side and have your kids' education paid for. There's some people that just do that. And it's just kind of, this is the way we travel. And then we afford this house and do this kind of a thing. Not some people don't want to make it a full-time thing, but if and when you do, I love that it's like, I could have done this 2 years ago. Look how much money we've got. Now I'm like, woohoo. Now you can like turn on the faucet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I guess I'll go ahead and tell you guys about the failed mailer.
Yes,
so
please share.
Oh my goodness. I learned so much from that mailer though. I feel like, of course, after the fact, I'm like, oh man, I really needed that. But so I hit this county and come to find out after the fact, I found out that, most of this county was farmland. And I went in, very aggressive, very aggressive. I got hate calls for 3 weeks, literally. Okay. Literally, but I was like, you know what? I'm answering every single call. I don't care. I'm going to, just do the best I can, and I mean, some really good property came back on that call, or on that mailer, but it was just, just couldn't meet eye to eye on as far as agreeing on price. Right. And so, I just got to the point where I was like, and I know I've heard Jill say this before. I was like, I'm not going to try to force something just to get something out of this mailer. So, and the funny thing is, it was like the biggest mailer I had sent to date at that time. So I sent a lot of letters to these people. So I was just like, you know what? All right, it is what it is. Let me just dust myself off, and let me just go ahead and send out the next mailer. So, started doing my research and everything. And the very next day, I got a call from a lady, and I mean, it was great. Long story short, she had a bunch of property in foreclosure, and her dad, her and her dad, they owned this company. Her dad had passed away probably back in 2007, I believe it was. So definitely some time ago. And by now, it was like she couldn't afford to pay the taxes on all the properties and stuff like that. And so, at that point, it was like she just given up. It's like, well, there's these properties in foreclosure. It's done with. Oh well. So when I was looking into the properties, I'm looking at, what are the back taxes? What are the foreclosure attorney fees and all of this other stuff, and numbers just kept adding up. And I'm like, okay, I don't know if this is going to work. Right. And so this is funny. So then I thought about, on our Thursday calls with, I think it's Dan, the guy, the Kill the Deal guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought of that. I was like, I need to kill this deal because I just don't know if this is going to work. It's just too much. So I told her, I'm like, look, if I can even do this deal, this is how much. And I had to come up with a number that I know that, like Jill says, if she says yes to this, then I got to do the deal, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And she said yes. I was like, all right, well, so
what just happened?
Exactly. So I'm like, well, let me dig in. Let me roll my sleeves up and dig in, and let's figure this out. So it took a month to get that deal closed, but I definitely learned a lot. Just talking with irate sellers and how to talk them down. Like I said in my letter, I thought of, what would Jill do type of thing, So I'm like, all right, okay, let me get these people to talk to me sensibly. And then, working with, oh my goodness, the attorney and working with, because in North Carolina, you have to do it through attorneys, close your deals through attorneys. So working with attorneys, working with the foreclosure attorney, working with the seller, working, was that it? I don't know, but just going through back and forth, it's just a lot of, all right, okay, now I got this here, and now, okay, get this here, and okay, all right, now we gotta make sure they're on the same page. So it was a lot, but it was definitely well worth it.
I'm so proud of you.
So can you give us, that's a great story. Can you give us the raw numbers?
Yes. So all in all, we ended up paying $10,500 for 4 properties, and 4 great properties, great access. One of them, we were actually contemplating on keeping it, but more than likely we'll end up selling it. But it has like a little creek or something in the back of the lot where the neighbor next door, he fishes out of it and whatever. So it's really cool. That one's like, I think 5.1 acres. We got a 4.1 acre lot, and we had 2 10-acre lots. And those actually, so we bought 10.5 for 4. And 2 of the 10-acre lots we sold $25,000 right away to a buyer that I had a wonderful buyer. He's awesome. We sold that pretty much right away. And so we still got the 2 that we're contemplating what we're going to do. But actually, the other guy, he actually contacted us the other day, and he's like, "Hey, you still got those other ones?" I was like, "Well, yeah. I mean, we're thinking about holding on to them, but if you want them, whatever."
Awesome. I love it. So what's your husband say now? He's like, what can I do? Does he like bring you a sandwich and tea whenever you ask?
Yep. Now he's like, yeah, are you making us some money? I surely am. All right. So just,
okay, I got dinner, babe. Don't worry about it.
Let me work. Okay, let me work.
Yep, exactly.
So are you going to make like 50 grand on the deal at the end of the day?
Gosh, I hope so.
Sounds like maybe more. Sounds like you kept
and
some
you know
good
what?
ones.
It's so funny. My son, he said to me the other day, he's like, "Mom, you just sold those properties for half of what you make in a year on your regular job."
Good for
and I'm
him.
like, at first I was excited about that fact. And then I really thought about it. And I'm like, man, that's just downright depressing.
That's so funny.
That's true. Yes.
At some point, I think a lot of us have had that conversation. Like, wait a minute, why am I doing this? Why am I working so hard for this here?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We just had a person in our advanced group.
Yeah, this is good.
Direct message me. This is somebody who's been with us since 2015, and say, I just made more last month than I did. And he's been doing this full time for 5 years. more last month than I did in my entire last year.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my
So,
gosh.
your son's right, is my point.
Exactly.
You just add zeros. After a while, you just add zeros.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
The 10-5 is now you're buying them for 50,000, then you're buying stuff for 100,000.
And then 100 becomes 250, and then 250 is a million, and on and on. And those are real numbers.
Wow.
So good.
Well,
So what kind of mailers and have you added a zero, and what are you looking at sending out now?
I mean, I haven't added a zero just yet. I'm still, I guess, trying to keep it small. I don't know. Maybe I just really want to kind of feel like I got a little bit more of my feet under me, but I'm staying where I am for right now. I think eventually I'll move up. Really what I'm trying to focus on next is just getting more consistent with my mail, getting more consistent, closing deals like every month.
Processes.
Yeah,
that'll pay off in spades. I think that's really, really, you're obviously playing the long game, because I think that'll pay off for you in a huge way. If you get all your systems down and then you let it rip.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a failed mailer, really, right?
It really was not. It was my best deal ever. So no, definitely not a failed mailer at all.
It's real hard for brand new people to digest. It's like natural in our souls to want to do what you did in the beginning, which is send out 60 offers on some stuff that you see with your eyes.
Yes.
And then have somebody call you and say, yeah, what you saw is right. I'll validate, if I see it, I'll believe it, kind of thing. I'm going to validate your thing, and I'll sell your house. And it just doesn't work that way. The fact is, you got to send out thousands of letters. You got to take the pain, like Rocky Balboa, take the pain, and then you're going to win. You win the fight eventually. And that's a perfect story that you had. That happens to us all the time. And then systematically take the pain out, the pain points.
Yeah.
You don't have to take all that hate,
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that day. Hopefully we'll get there soon, but definitely looking forward to that. I was telling, that was something I was actually telling one of the hate calls that called me, I'm like, well, unfortunately, sir, we have to hit the many to find the few that actually need our help, because everyone's not in your situation. Everyone's not so lucky to have this great piece of land that, they can sell for whatever. But anyway, so definitely.
I have to tell you, Tiffany, as inspired as you were with us on the screen, you know how many people you're inspiring right now being on the screen. I hope you know that.
I hope I am. I really do. I definitely prayed about that. Actually, I'm like, because, I'm glad you said that, because I remember, especially when I first started, definitely having some days where I'm just totally like doubting myself and like, oh my gosh, like, what am I doing? And I swear, I think I did everything wrong. I'm sure there's more I'll do wrong later, but, but yet and still, it's just like, you just got to keep moving forward and keep going. And you guys did this podcast, and it came at the right time, because I so needed to hear this, where you guys said that, I think we unintentionally make this look easy. And of course, it's easier for us. We've been doing this for so long. But I really need to hear that, because you're right. The concept is simple, but it is not easy. And it definitely takes work, and especially when you're a one man or one woman show like me, it takes work. It takes a lot of juggling people, attorneys and sellers and buyers and everything else, and just really working the deal and sticking in there and till the finish, so.
Exactly. That was a good point.
Yeah.
Thank you for making that.
Oh yeah, sure.
That was good.
Yeah.
What do you think what's the sticking point, or your least favorite part, or what was the hardest thing for you to get past? Because you obviously got past it all and got to the finish line.
Yes. It's funny because I don't know why, for whatever reason, when it comes to like talking to the sellers, buying the property and all that, I'm good with. But when it comes to actually having to resell and deal with the buyers, I just don't know why. It
Patience.
drives me crazy, coming up with the post and what to say and all this other stuff. It does. I don't know. So I'm looking forward to when I can give that out to someone else.
Might be a good job for your husband.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's actually funny because I did like recently, I think after this deal, my family's like, what can we do to help? So, it's like my absolutely. My husband, he volunteered to do like the research because he is our researcher of the family, to do the due diligence and research and everything. My son is our math whiz. So he's like, all right, I was like, oh, great. You can help me with the numbers and like, what we're bringing in, what's going out, type of thing. I mean, of course it's in an Excel spreadsheet. So it's kind of calculating the numbers, but he still gets to feel like he's doing something. And I'm totally good with that. And then my daughter, she's the writer. So she's actually agreed to like help me. Yes. Like she's actually agreed to help me with like, doing up the post for, when it's time to resell the property and all that. So yeah, I don't know. We're getting there.
Do you believe what you're teaching your kids right now, how to put food on the table for when they're doing it? This is amazing.
Absolutely.
This is so good. I'm so glad that you're obviously on the dining room table with everybody and the office hold up, and that's good. So they can see and hear and learn and this is amazing.
The story gets better and better.
Yeah, that makes me feel so good. Yeah. You really are helping your whole family and teaching them some stuff.
When our kids were little, every single one of them, they're all 4 years apart. And every single one of them said, I will never, ever do what you guys do. You're always bickering about it. It's a constant, how kids see stuff like either positive or negative. And every single one of them work for us now.
Yeah.
Of course. See, there you go. There you go. That's right.
They had to come around and go, maybe there is something to that.
Absolutely.
Like, what do you think's been, paying for your clothes all these years?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Yep.
So funny.
No, it's amazing.
And it's like you're teaching, core business skills. That's the stuff I look at it too. It doesn't matter what it is, whatever they go off and do, knowing how to run a business and all that's involved and to see mom overcome these obstacles. I mean, you're just such a role model, and that's so good. So I'm so happy.
Thank you for that. I mean, you guys are role models. I mean, shoot, I'm always telling my husband, like, they don't have to do this. Like, to me, like, that's just very encouraging. Because, like I said in my letter, or the note that I sent, I'm like, you guys could definitely choose to just make your money and just, live your happy, comfy life and not teach anybody, not share anything. And you guys are very sharing, you guys. And like I said, I mean, the price of this program is like, it's nothing compared to the value that you get in like what you guys teach. And you can tell, I think what really drew me to you guys from the beginning, but you can see when something's real, when people are just real, they're genuine and they actually really care. They really care about, the information they're giving or teaching, and they really want to people to get it, and giving your all. And like, watching the programs, like I get a kick out of Steve, when he's talking about the data and, I mean, you could just see it, the passion. So it's amazing. It really is. And I have to thank you guys very much.
You're the reason we do this. I love teaching. I just do. Jill loves doing deals. And somehow we're all sitting here right now in this moment. So I don't know how it came about really, but it did.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad.
I'm really, really glad it worked for you.
I'm so glad.
Yes, I love the family component. And I have to tell you, you should pat yourself on the back a little bit more, because I wish more people came to us having that land light bulb moment, before they find us, instead of getting that light bulb moment, if it ever happens, after they come to us. So, it's hard to fail with your personality type if you're already in there trying to figure it out yourself. Right. And it's just, I'm sending 40 and it's not working. I'm sending 60, it's not working, instead of sending 6,000.
Right.
It's when we get the opportunity to fill in the holes for somebody like you, that's when everybody wins.
Exactly. That's some of the hardest parts. Sometimes we have people, I'm sure you do too now. I'm sure you have friends that are going to have said, why are you driving that car? What's going on? Or just something, you know what I mean? You're like, all of a sudden you can take a vacation or do some things. I don't know. And you, can share what's going on. It's hard to explain it, and they want to, and I have some really close friends that they so want to get it and they so can't get it.
They just
they keep asking the same question, like, so wait a minute. So you mean you don't do anything to the property? I'm like, that's correct. Again, you don't go there. Yes, I've said that 12 times. I don't go there.
That's my favorite part about it. I love that so much. Because, with houses, when I was learning all this stuff about houses, you're like, you got to go see the house. You got to go calculate repairs and come up with all of this. And I'm like, oh, gosh, all right, that's going to be fun. But no, I do not have to do any of that. So, no, this is absolutely a blessing. I'm so thankful.
I'm so glad. So what is the goal here? Have you guys had that family meeting yet and decided that, how far you want to take this?
I don't know if we had like an official family meeting, but I have definitely said from the beginning, all right, like, look, all right.
Mom's in charge,
that's for sure. Yeah, they don't need a meeting. They're just going to get
orders.
That's right.
Absolutely. Okay. Look, it's so funny because all of my family, they're like, my husband's 6'5", my daughter's like 5'10", my son, he's definitely going to be taller than me. And people are always, oh, you're the shorty in the family. Like, that's okay, because I'm the one that's in charge. That's all that matters. But, yeah, like I told them from the beginning, like what I wanted out of this. I definitely want to join the Quitters Club one day, be a quitter. And I definitely, have a goal in mind as far as like a monthly revenue, what I want to get to. I'm praying that I'll be able to surpass that one day. But right now, I'm just trying to work there. So
that's good. Having that goal and writing it down.
Yes.
Huge.
It's probably part of your success, where you're obviously good at deconstructing whatever it is goal you're trying to do. Just take it piece by piece by piece, and there's not much you can say to Tiffany. She's you've got it figured out.
Yeah.
You just need the mechanics from us.
I'm just laughing because I'm thinking of that one car conversation. Right, we're in the car. We're going to look at property or something.
Yes.
And it was like, it was right. Was it after that one mailer? We just weren't feeling it. And I'm like, hang in there. I know it, and I think you didn't really need anything. I think you just kind of want a little confirmation.
I did. It was pep talk. Yes. It really was, I'm like, I just need something. Please, Jill, just tell me anything, and it was funny.
I just gave you a little tip and you're like, all right, I got it. That's all I needed.
I'm good. Thank you. Seriously, yes. And I think that was actually right before that failed mailer hit. So it's just like, oh my gosh. I tell you.
It's like, well, I can't give up now.
Yeah. Nope. Definitely not.
Oh, I'm so glad. Would you have any questions for us?
Yes, I did have one question, and so I know that I would like to get more specific or precise with my pricing. So, and I know I've heard you say this before, Steve, about, that it should take you some time to really price things out. Because so far I've been pricing like just going based off 5 acres, 10 acres in the whole county. Right. And I just would really like to get more precise with that. And I think I've heard you guys talk about maybe pricing by zip or APN or something like that. I'm not.
So when you pull a data set and you have county X and you're staring at, 3,000-4,000 lines of data, and you've done the other scrubs like bad addresses and everything else that you already know about. You can break down the situs. There's a column in there called situs zip code. So properties, you can break the entire county down by zip code.
Okay.
And then you can break it down by size. So you have in one column, let's say the zip code in in numerical order.
Okay.
And then right next to it, you have the sizes of the properties in numerical order. So you'll see, depending on what you pulled. Let's say you pulled between 5 acres and 40 acres.
Mm-hmm.
You can see all the 5 acres in a zip code, all the 10 acres in a zip code, all the 20, between 5 and 10, 10 and 20, 20 and 40, let's say.
Perfect. Okay.
And then you can pull the comps off of Zillow for completed sales. You can pull them down either manually. There's a lot of ways to scrape them. You're the kind of person who'll figure out how to do it. But this is what you do, and you will get an average. What I'm doing is you can pull the anomalies or use a real high days on market. Pull those out.
Okay.
There's always weird ones.
Okay.
What throws all this data off is the weird ones. If you imagine a bell curve, it's the stuff at the two ends of the bell curve that mess it all up.
Right.
Then you find your average. And you multiply, I usually multiply by 20% or 25%.
Okay.
And then Jill goes in and usually cuts it in half from there.
Hello, Jill don't play any game. I love it.
It's so much easier to add money than it is to take it away.
Jill's motto, I hear this multiple times a week right now in our land buying and selling career. I don't want to convince somebody to sell their property for less.
Right.
I want to convince them to sell to me for more.
Right.
So you just got to go in real hot.
Yeah.
And this whole COVID thing is really, I don't know if you've sent a mailer out since the COVID. It's a very, are you having a positive response?
It's been both. I definitely have had positive response. And my last mailer, it's funny because I got less hate calls than normal. So I don't know if that's because of COVID or whatever. I don't know. I've even had some people say, they start out mad on the phone and then they're like, well, I mean, honestly, life is too short to be this mad about this. So I'm sorry, but just
so cute.
But yeah, it's been interesting. So
yeah,
I have a bunch of one-liners I've accumulated over the years in response to this. One of my favorite ones is, look, man, if this gets you that upset, what else is going on in your life? And sometimes it's just like break down into tears because something, and then they'll tell you all about it.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't get that mad about getting some random letter for your piece of land that you're never going to use.
Right.
Oh, goodness. Yes. I try. I'm definitely trying to be more compassionate and understanding, and understand that, like, I think you guys were actually saying on a recent episode or podcast that, for these people, they dreamed to do this and that with the land, or maybe their parents did, or whatever it is. And that's like the one big, transaction that they had going on in their life, aside from maybe buying a house or something. Right. So of course it is big for them. Right. Where for us, it's another piece of land. We're keeping it moving, but that try to be understanding and compassionate, about that part of it. But I will say that I struggled, especially at first, trying to get past the concept of, oh my gosh, I have to buy the property so cheap. I don't want to, because sellers will make you feel horrible, right? Or people that call back, they'll make you feel terrible. These hate calls like, oh, you're trying to take advantage and this and that. And it's like, that's not it at all. Like, I would rather be able to help someone out. We, pay them $5,000 that I know I can get to them, next week or whatever it is. Like, they, need money. They don't want to, they've had land sitting on the market for months and sometimes years. Like my first deal, he had tried to sell that property for years. So, by the time I got to him, he's like, please take it. I'm done. I can't help me out. Like, you're a sure thing. I know I'll have some money soon and be done with it, And he actually told me, he's like, man, I wish I had something else I could sell to you.
So since we sat down and started talking with you, you've described 2 deals to us. This one deal where it was in, I think, probably tax foreclosure for her, and you did the deal. And then you just described one where the guy had it on the market for years. So in both cases, my perception is this: you're solving a problem for somebody.
Right.
And that's how we should talk about that more on the show, because you get all these hate calls, and then you just get these calls where they're in the middle, where it's like, I want to sell it, but this is a ridiculous price. I'm not going to sell it. The deal doesn't happen. And then you get these calls. They're they're very predictable number of where it's, you know what, I'm going to sell it because I'm tired of it. And then they tell you why. And those are the deals you end up doing. when you
Absolutely.
truly have to. So in response to what you're saying, I know in your soul, it's like, wow, I'm really buying this sheep, but they thanked you in the end.
Yes, absolutely. Every time, it's like, thank you so much. They're just so happy. I put $5,000 in my pocket tomorrow. I don't have to keep holding on to this land paying taxes. So yes,
Exactly.
yeah,
That's
absolutely. We are a solution, and I absolutely love that about this so much. And
isn't that good? It makes you feel good. That's one of the things about our business. I feel good. I'm not trying.
Absolutely.
If you don't want to sell, I'm not here to talk you out of something.
I am not. And that's also funny, because that's about a lot of these housing channels and stuff I would watch, and I mean, they're teaching you pretty much how to be a salesperson, and how to, like, you got to read the person and this, and all right, well, if they come back, we'll try to get it down this number, and then try to go back and then say, well, is that all you can do? And it's just like, oh man, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to be that guy.
I don't either.
No.
Well, that's why, we let the data do all that. The data does all that. It's like using a knife and a fork. They do all the work. So, if you send out 5,000 letters, you're going to buy some property. That's just, it's like, and I think a lot of new people fight that.
Right.
They want to check us and say they want to find another way. It's just how it works.
I don't know.
And why put yourself through all that anyway? Just send the 5,000 out, take what comes back, buy a few pieces of property.
It's just undoing what we've all been taught, I think. And, I was thinking about, because we have a member, another one, it's probably the same. I know it's the same person we talked about earlier. He has said in the past that he had to undo his own thoughts and just listen to what we said. It's like, all right, I'm just going to follow the steps here and follow the program, do what they say. And he's like, oh, okay, well, now they're right. I'm wrong.
Absolutely.
That's it. It does. It's true.
We're doing with mobile homes right now and having just an amazing response.
Yeah.
Truly amazing.
I can imagine. Yeah.
I think that people who own mobile homes are, for whatever reason, they're willing to just say, you know what, take this off my hands. I don't want to deal with it anymore.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing too. Now, Tiffany, it's like, this works with everything. Now you know.
Yes.
It's like you want to tell your daughter, what kind of car do you want to get someday, or what kind of bike you want, or I don't know, whatever. We can offer up blast somehow. I wish there was a way.
That's right.
A database of bikes.
Could you imagine? That'd be kind of cute.
That'd be a great way to explain it to a kid.
Well, remember once upon a time when we were little, I used to you had to go get a bike license.
Yeah, I had to do that
go
too.
to the fire department or something.
Yeah,
really?
That.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
You had to do that same thing, Jill.
Yeah. So maybe back then, that database, you could have found your ideal bike.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I've never heard of that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's because you're a lot younger than us.
That's true.
Yeah. A lot.
Well, thank you so much, Tiffany. This has been
thank you guys.
fun. And I'm sure you have inspired other people. So thank you for taking the time out of your day.
Oh, it's no problem at all.
Yeah, seriously. I'm really serious. It shocks me even now after years of doing this, how much one episode like this will inspire people. You're going to get, just brace yourself. You're going to get 50 emails.
I don't mind.
Fan club here in a minute.
Oh gosh.
This is the era.
I don't mind. Yeah.
I
really don't mind. I mean, if anyone's like where I was, trying to figure stuff out, right? You're just looking for any line that you can get, so definitely I know what it's like to be there, and I'm glad to help out with wherever I can. So
that's so good. My big takeaway is going to be what your son said. So, Mom, tell me this again. You just made half your annual salary in this with this one seller? Yep.
Man.
I have a funny story to share just like that. I said it on a podcast probably a couple of years ago, but my parents bought the house that I grew up in for $13,000 and sold it for like $87,000. And then we moved to a much nicer neighborhood in Detroit, out of Detroit into a nicer neighborhood with that money. Mm-hmm. And I looked around, I was probably 8 at the time. I said, well, why don't you buy all these houses and do that? And then you don't have to work at all. And they both laughed and said, ha ha, that's not possible.
Very funny.
That's crazy.
All these little things plant seeds.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's very
Absolutely. True. Absolutely. But some of us just don't know what we don't know, right? We don't, some people don't know. And once you've given them kind of shown them, open up their minds to a new world, they're all for it, right? But then there's a lot of people they just can't even understand the concept. Like, why would that work? How can you make money? Trust me, I do.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, I'm sure those people are not listening to this at all.
Yeah, more than likely.
Exactly.
More than likely not. Yep.
Well, happy you could join us today. 5 days a week, you can find us right here on the Land Academy Show.
Tomorrow, join us for another episode of the Land Academy Show. It may or may not be interesting. I'm all thrown off because
you're all good.
Because there's no script today.
It's okay.
You're not alone in your real estate ambition. Tiffany Carter, thank you so much. That was awesome. I personally got a lot out of this. I loved the light bulb moment, the land light bulb moment.
He was taking notes here too, by the way. I think this is going to air next week, and all of our conversations that we're doing, because we just wrote the script, we're writing the scripts like today for next week. So you will have inspired most, if not all of them. So this will be good.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow,
Tiffany Carter week.
I love it. Yes. Well, thank you guys. Really.
All right.
Very much.
Well, thanks. We'll see you on Thursday, probably.
Yep.
Okay.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
We hope you found our content valuable, and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.